Good evening all. You are welcome to Tutorials with Fametanto the Schoolboy. Today we'll take a look at biology. In our last class, we introduced the topic cell structure and functions of what? Cell components. So we tried talking about the discovery of the cell and what happened and the cell theory. I think that's what we did in our last class, right? Right? Good. So today we'll continue with from where we stopped. We'll continue from where we stopped. I can remember I made it clear to you that the cell has two major what? Components. The cell has what? Two major what? Components. The plasma membrane and what? And what? The protoplasm. You forgot. The plasma membrane and what? The protoplasm. Now, the plasma membrane is the one that does what? That encloses the what? The cell. Am I communicating? While inside the cell we have what's called the protoplasm. The protoplasm consists of the what? The nucleus and the what? Cytoplasm. And the organelles are suspended in where? In the what? Is nucleus an organelle? Is nucleus an organelle? Is nucleus an organelle? Eh? Is it an organelle? You don't know. Okay, let's continue. Now, by the time we are done, you know whether you answer that question yourself. Now, I told you what happened when they cut. What does it that they cut, they slice and view under the microscope? What did I say? Cock, right? Good. And such things that look like what? Rooms, right? And they call it what? Cell. Who did that specifically? Robert who? Robert who? Hook, right? Okay, now let's continue. Sorry, those that we are reviewing what we did in our last class, okay? So, all right, let's continue. Now, with the use of electron microscope, they had to actually burst the cell and study the what? The organelles. These organelles that we found inside the cells, they studied these organelles, and now we're able to come up with the functions, what they actually what? Do. Am I completing? When you do your microbiology, okay, sorry, I forgot that this class is messed up. There's what is called, before they go down to the organelles, that is, when I say organelles, you know the cell, if you slice whatever a new material and view it under the microscope, if you stain, that's what is called staining technique in what? That's what's called what? Staining technique, where you stain a particular what? Specimen, and some component of the specimen, the rate at which they hold the dye. A stain contains what? Dye. What is called dye? D-Y what? E. Now, those in secondary school, or those that just left secondary school, did you use microscope in your secondary school at all? Huh? You did not. You did, right? No, yes. Which one? Now, before they prepared it, okay, anyway, you don't know anything about how they prepared what you view anyway. But behind the scenes, they prepared the slides. They will apply staining. There, so when they are done, different component of that specimen we retain the what? Stain at different what rates. Some retain more, some retain less. That's what happens in a cell. some components, some of the components of the cell will retain not at the same rates. So when you now view under the microscope, you now see different patches, but you not go, that will not give you deep what actually happens inside a cell. Now it's when they do what is called studying of the ultra structure of the cell using a electron microscope. They bust the cell itself and find out, view these organelles. That's what they now talk about. What they say that the ribosome is responsible for what? Protein synthesis, right? Then mitochondria is for what? Respiration, right? Also energy what? Production. That's why they say that mitochondria is what? The powerhouse of the what? Cell. It's through this study of the ultra structure of the cell that they came to that what? Conclusion. Am I communicating? So these are the different stages, different steps, different things that were carried out to be able to come up with the cell you know today. Now, with that now, I want us to go into this component. But before we do that, there are two major, apart from whether it's animal cells and plant cell, apart from that division, which we still compare two of them. That's how we're going to do it. We compare animal cell and plant cell by if you bring up a particular organelle, we try to check whether that organelle is found in what? Animal, or whether it's found in both animal and what? Plant. Okay? Now, but before then, there's two major called them types of cell. We have what we call prokaryotic cell and what? Eukaryotic cell. Have you heard that term before? Have you heard that term before? You've not heard that. Good. That's why you have it. Prokaryotic cell and what? Eukaryotic. You're done with this thing, right? Yes. Please. So much to clean up. Remember I said the cell we have what? What? No, I'm coming. The first thing I said, proto what? And what? Plasma what? Membrane. Here we have what? Nucleus and what? Cyto what? Plasma. The same way we have prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic. Give me that marker. Thank you. We have prokaryotic and what? Some textbooks we use K. Some we use K in place of what? C. Now, prokaryotic and what? Eukaryotic cells. Now, when a cell is very simple, when a cell is what? Very, very what? Simple. No nucleus, no organelles. I'm talking about what? Prokaryotic cell. It's simple. No what? Nucleus. No what? Organelles. And no what? Membrane. I'm taking the features of what? Prokaryotic. Simple. No nucleus. No organelles. No what? Membrane. Is not enclosed by any membrane. There are no membrane. Such simple cell is what? A prokaryotic cell. And inside the prokaryotic cells, the materials for development, growth, and reproduction are just found inside it's scattered or in one particular part, unlike an organized cell where you have the nucleus and different organelles as strategic points. So that's what you have in what? Prokaryotic cell. In eukaryotic cells, eukaryotic cell is highly what? Organized. In eukaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells have nucleus, definite nucleus, and organelles. well arranged in their various position, and they are enclosed by what? Membrane. They are enclosed by what? Membrane. By the time we go into classification, are we together? By the time we go into what? Classification of living organisms, we'll start giving examples of each of these. If we mention a particular organism, we'll say whether it is actually what? A prokaryote or a what? Eukaryote. I just want to mention it. Let us not go deep in that. Now let's go back to what we are discussing about the cell. So let's start with what? Are we together? Are we together? Good. Now let's look at plasma membrane. Remember, we talk about the cell. We have the protoplasma and the what? Plasma membrane. So let's take a look at what? Plasma what? Membrane. Now, plasma membrane. The first feature is that, of course, you know that plasma membrane encloses the what? Cell, right? You agree with me, right? Good. That's number 1 point. Plasma membrane encloses the what? Cell. Another point is that the plasma membrane is flexible. Is what? Flexible. Another point is that it's what? Flexible. Another point I want you to note is that it's composed of proteins and what? Lipids. When you say lipid, to talk about fats, I hope you know. Are you there? Good. So it is composed of what? Mainly proteins and what? Lipids. Now, because it encloses the cell, it does what? It prevents the content of the cell from what? Escaping from the cell, leaving the cell, okay? It prevents the what? The content of the cell from doing what? Escaping or leaving the cells. Another vital feature of plasma membrane is that it is selectively what? Permeable. It is what? Selectively permeable. So plasma membrane is what? Selectively permeable. What do you mean by being selectively permeable? It allows some substances to do what? Enter. And prevent from doing what? Entry. Not all substances can pass through the what? Plasma what? Membrane. So it controls the materials that enter and leave the what? Cell. I think I mentioned up to 6 features here. True of us is what? Number 1 is what? Of course. It's flexible. Okay, and it's what? Permeable. Now, this is what? The plasma what? Membrane. Plasma what? Membrane. It's found both in plant and animal cell. Are you aware? It's found both in what? Plant and animal what? Cell. Now, when it comes to plant cell, you're not right. Why? Are you sure? Good. When it comes to plant cell, there's something special. There's something extra when it comes to what? Plant cell. When it comes to plant cell, I told you that plant cell and animal cell, they both have what? Probably right. Now, when it comes to animal plant cell, there's another layer on top. We call what? We call what? Cell wall. We call what? Cell. So, in animal cells, the outermost part is the cell wall. So, cell wall does what? Encloses the what? Surround the what? Plasma membrane. So, this will take us to what? Another part of the cell we call what? Cell wall. Cell what? Wall. Okay? Cell wall. Cell wall is found only in plants cell, not in what? Animal cell. Are we together? Cell wall is in plant cell, not in what? Animal what? Cell. Now, what is the components of this cell wall? From the name, cellulose what? Cell wall. So, cell wall is composed of what? Cellulose. And what is cellulose? Cellulose is a polymer. True of us. Polysaccharide. True of us. True or false? Good. Now, so cell wall is unlike the plasma membrane. Cell wall is what? Rigid. Is what? Rigid and tough. Is fairly rigid and what? Tough. Is fairly what? Rigid and what? Tough. And because it's rigid and tough, what is the implication? It does what? It provides mechanical support to the what? Plant. It provides what? Mechanical what? Support to the plant. Thereby protecting the plant. True or false? True or false? True or false? Good. That's why if you see plant now, if you see plant, go and hit your head there. You have issues. True or false? True or false? These cells, by the time we go to what is called secondary thickening. Have you heard about that one? Thickening. Have you heard about that one? Don't worry. When we go to xylem and all those things we talk about, we go to supporting what? Tissues in plant. We discuss that one. So let's not. But just know that supporting function is a result of what? Cellulose what? Cell wall. Ask your question. Support to the plant, yes. Now, there's one thing about this cellulose cell wall. Remember I told you that plasma membrane actually plasma membrane. Can someone tell me the relationship between plasma membrane or difference between plasma membrane and cell membrane?
That plasma membrane is made up of mainly protein, while
cell membrane.
Yeah.
I said plasma membrane and cell membrane. I didn't say cell wall.
Cell membrane. So it's not the same. It's not the same. That's cell membrane with cell wall. Hello. Plasma membrane, cell membrane, they're talking about the same thing. But when you say cell membrane, you are now specific on the what? Cell, the one that surrounds the cell, okay? But when you that plasma membrane, nuclear membrane is also a plasma membrane. How together? Inside a cell, the one that encloses the nucleus is called what? Nuclear membrane. Both nuclear membrane, whether it's either all membrane, whether it's nuclear or cell, they're all what? Membrane. So they make up what is called what? Plasma what? Membrane. If you say cell membrane, now you're not being what? Specific, okay? Okay? You're not being specific now when you say cell membrane. So sometimes they are used interchangeably, but I want to let you know that when you say cell membrane, you are still talking about what? Plasma membrane. But you not customize it to what? Cell. That's why I say, in fact, some of these organelles have their membranes to true or false. True or false? So all of them are called what? Plasma what? Membrane. But when you're specific now, you say nuclear membrane, cell membrane, okay? I think we also have vacuolar membrane. True or false? Let's not go there. Let's finish what we're talking about. Remember, we are in wall. In what? Cell wall. Now, one thing about this cell wall is that cell wall, unlike plasma membrane, one thing with cell wall is that cell wall is permeable. Is what? Permeable. Okay? Is what? Permeable. It's freely. Let me qualify it. It's freely what? If I let me modify it, it's freely what? Permeable. Freely permeable. It's not just permeable. It's what? Freely what? Permeable. Unlike what? The cell membrane or plasma membrane. That's one thing with cell wall. Okay. The living component. Remember when we started discussing cell? We started from the beginning, from different levels. We started from one atoms, right? We say atoms interact to form what? To form what? Molecules. And molecules interact to form what? macromolecules. Macromolecules interact to form what? Organelles, right? Then when organelles interact, they form what? The cell. So starting from atom, you come up to what? Molecules. Come up to what? Macromolecules. Then organelles. Then what? The cell. Are we together? Now, the living components, the component actually made the cell a living, do I say thing or whatever? But is cell living? Is cell living? Is the what? The protoplasm. The protoplasm is the living component of the what? The cell. Not the what? Membrane. Or the cell as getting it. Is what? The protoplasm. It's because that is where you have the interaction of organelles. Okay, I am one that produces protein. Yeah, I produce protein. I'll send to you. I'm the one that protect the cells from invading material. When they come, I will engulf them and destroy them. As they are working together, the cell now come up. That is one mystery where nobody has a what? Unravel. Okay? Because how come things that are not living come together to form things that something that is what? Living. But what explanation do you have for that? That is where the power of God comes. That's where the power of God does what? Comes. Take it or leave it. Anyone saying there's no God, that person is just wasting his time. His or her time. How can you explain that? Things that are not living, they come together. And those cells that come together and form you. As you are now, cells. Different cells interact. Different cells interact to form tissues. It's not true. Atom interact to form molecules. Molecules interact to form what? Macromolecules. Virus is a level of what? Macromolecules. Not even an organelle. Macromolecules interact to form what? Organelles. Organelles interact to form what? The cell. Different cells interact to form what? Tissue. So tissues work together hand in hand to form what? Organ. An organ work hand in hand to form different systems in your body. And these systems, this one is digesting. This one is helping you to in respiration. This one is helping you in movement of your body. This one is helping you in reproduction. This system now form you as a human being. How can you explain that? From atom that is not living. So where life starts is at where? Cell. Where? Cell. Cell is what? Living. That's where life starts. So how come? Why must life start there? Can you explain that? Now let's continue. So this is what happened with when it comes to what? The cell wall. Now let's go to protoplasm. Remember we said that protoplasm is composed of what? Consists of what? The living material inside the what? Cell membrane. That's basic for definition. Protoplasm is the living material inside the what? Cell membrane. Simple. Protoplasm is the living material. The organelles come together to form that living material, and that is the living aspect of the what? Part of the what? Cell. So protoplasm is the living material inside the what? Cell membrane. So it's composed of what? It consists of the what? The nucleus and the what? Cytoplasm. It consists of the what? The nucleus and the what? Cytoplasm. Now, let's now go over to nucleus. Let's look at what? Nucleus. We are entering different structures in the cell, one after the other. If you look at this assignment we are giving, you see that it talks about what? These structures in the cell and what they do. So by the time you do the assignment, you appreciate what you are doing today.
So please, as you do the assignment, try to understand what you are. Don't just go and copy one answer and come here and give us. Try to understand any answer you choose. Try to find out, if possible, get your textbook. That's why it's an assignment. Try to go through your textbook. Try to answer it yourself using textbook. Find out why this is the answer. No reason. If you can explain the reason, that means you know it. True of us. Good. It's not just to circle A for us, because we are going to call you out here. You explain why is the what? The option. Now let's continue. Now the nucleus. I want us to note here and now that the nucleus is the largest. The nucleus is the largest and the most important cell organelle. The nucleus is the largest and the most important cell organelle. Very important. Very important point. Not that others are not important, but this nucleus very important, the most important. Now remember I told you about plasma membrane. I said that it's just a general name, right? That if you don't go deep, you have nuclear membrane. I told you that the nucleus has its membrane covering it, right? Right? So the nucleus is covered also by the what? Nuclear what? Membrane. And this nuclear membrane has double layers. So the nucleus is enclosed in a double layer membrane known as what? Nuclear membrane. In a double layer membrane known as what? Nuclear membrane. Okay. One thing about this nuclear membrane is that it has pores. P-O-R-E-S. The nuclear membrane has what? Pores. Do you know what those pores do? Do you know what those pores do? The pores help in exchange of material between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Am I communicating? Because some things happen in the nucleus, ranging from DNA, it has to do with DNA, RNA, whatever. Some synthesis are within the nucleus, and into there be an exchange, sometimes transmission of information. Am I communicating? From between the nucleus and the what? Genetic information are also transported. Am I communicating? Or code on what to be synthesized in the organelles in the nucleus emanate from where? In the cytoplasm emanate from where? The nucleus. Information on a lot of things come from where? The nucleus. But that is where is the chromosome? Where? Nucleus. Where is the gene? Inside where? Where is the DNA? So nucleus is very important. A lot of things. In fact, nucleus is just organ. It just day one kind there. Just they control the whole cell. Just they dish out code, the different information. Okay, when this one is done, okay, tell this ribosome that stop producing protein or produce this type of protein with this information. It will write the information and pass through the pores. It will go. A lot of information flow from what? Nucleus to the what? From the nucleus to the what? To the what? Cytoplasm. Now, so nucleus is very, very what? Important. So the pores allow exchange of materials between the. I think I've said that right. Between the what? The nuclear pores allow exchange of material between the nucleus and the what? Cytoplasm. That's the function of the nuclear pores. It's called what? Nuclear pores. Found on the nuclear membrane. Now, we agree that the chromosome is found in what? Nucleus, right? Good. When we go into genetics, hereditary. When we go into hereditary, Mendelian's work and other things, we dissect chromosome well and gene well. We open up gene. You understand what gene is all about. So that is a topic for another day. But I just want to mention one or two things about it. So the nucleus contains, have you heard of chromatin? Chromatin. Good. So the nucleus contains what? Chromatin. Chromatin is what? Thread-like. It's like what? Thread. Owu. Right? Thread-like what? Materials. But they are a network mesh. They are a network, not just single. They are a network of what? The nucleus contains what? Network of thread-like material called what? Chromatin granules. Chromatin what? Granules. So what is this chromatin granule? Just an extension of. It's an extension of the what? Chromosome. Hello? It's an extension of what? Chromosome. Who knows about cell division here? Does it play any role in cell division? Chromatin? It does, right? Does it? Don't worry. When we get there, we'll talk about cell division. This topic is just talking about the structures and what they do, okay? But now let's continue. So just know that chromatin is an extension of what? Chromosome. And chromosome is found in the where? Nucleus. Good. Now let's continue. Now, the chromosome itself contains the nucleic what? Acid. Hello? Chromosome contains what? The nucleic what? Acids. It contains the DNA. It contains what? What is the full meaning of DNA? The oxy what? Ribonucleic acid. Chromosome contains the what? The DNA. DNA means what? The what? The oxy what? Ribo what? Nucleic what? Acid. Contains what? DNA. The oxy what? Ribonucleic what? Acid. Remember I told you that a lot of things happen inside the what? Nucleus, right? Remember that? Good. Now what is this DNA all about? This DNA contains a lot of information in form of code. C-O-D. DNA contains a lot of information in the form of what? Code. Specifically, hereditary information. Hereditary what? Information. That the shape of your head is like this. If you trace, as your face is now, if I trace from your father, or your mother, or your uncle, or your grandfather, one of them will have something like that. True of us. This information is coded in the word DNA. And this is what is transferred from one generation to what? Another generation. So that code inside the DNA, a segment of that DNA is what we call what? Gene. Okay? Gene. That code is the gene itself, because we have code for different things. Maybe the gene for this your facial expression, the gene for your pointed nose, the gene for your blue eye, the gene for your tallness. These things are codes. Code, C-O-D-E, in the what? DNA. Sorry. These are what? Short codes in the what? DNA. This is what we call what? Gene. So if they ask you, is gene found inside the DNA or DNA inside the gene? Which one? So this code that contains serious important information is the what? The gene. Alpha. All right, now let's continue. Have you not seen it? This whole thing is happening inside the nucleus. So when they say that nucleus is very important, it's not a child's play. It's a serious thing. Let's continue. Now, what sort of information is now found inside this, coded inside this DNA? What type of information? I've mentioned hereditary, right? Hereditary what? Is one of them. So, another one there is that information from production of some chemicals. Okay? Can you see me? Okay. So,
Where did I stop? I'm missing the different words. Information, right? Information for what? For normal cell functioning. Okay. Now, these organelles you are seeing there, you see that the cytoplasm, sorry, what is it called again? The ribosome helps in protein synthesis. The information on the type of protein to be synthesized, protein for what? All those information is coded inside the what? The DNA. It's one controlling all these things. That's why there should be a movement from the nucleus to what? To where? To where? The cytoplasm, to those organelles. There's a serious movement because information come back, go to and fro. To and what? Fro. From the what? Nucleus. So the information for what? Production of chemicals for normal what? Cell what? Functioning. Even the information for what? Production of new cells. New cell, or even the organism as a whole, as a whole. The information is there. The information of the shape of Michael's head is found in the what? The nucleus. And they came from the mother and the father, transferred to who? Michael. That's why Michael said it like this. The information on whether you will be beautiful, you don't know what? Coded there. Whether you will be very short is coded there. Whether you will be very, very ugly is coded there. So this is what genes are. We'll still go into gene as a when we now go into what related. But I'm just mentioning it for mentioning, so you prepare your mind there. Now, and with time, you keep developing some traits. There's what you call genetically developed what? Traits. You may not fully understand that one now. Traits, there are some characters you show from your appearance and other things. That is what genetically, even though we have the one that you environmentally what? Influence, okay? We'll go into that, but you just know that it's also coded in the what? The nucleus. The information for development of genetically acquired what? Trait. Trait is T-R-A-I what? T. Now let's continue. What's time? What time is up? Yeah, child. I think I said that I don't want us to be extending more than 6 p.m. so that those that come from far place can do what? Go. But the one we treated today is clear, right? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Please, if you go do the assignment, we'll stop here, please. In our next class, we continue from here, stop from here, please. Please, we'll start from here. I don't want us to stay here and your parents will start calling me on phone. I don't want to entertain such call now. So I think, please, I want you to study. With this foundation I've laid now, I believe that if you open your textbooks, I believe that if you open your textbooks, you do what? Study, read about all the organelles. Keep reading. Just go look about. Just read. Do the assignments. Read. In our next class, we'll continue. Tomorrow is chemistry by God's grace. Tomorrow is what? Chemistry. So did you see? I'll add you in our group. There's a group for this tutorial where I post. If you have a question there, you can drop it there. Feel free. Where I post links for our lectures. As you can see, I'm recording all our lectures. I upload it on my YouTube channel. Feel free, if you want to, feel free to record my lectures. Feel free. Okay? Feel free to record my lectures. Feel free. Any question,
You said tomorrow is
chemistry. Yeah. Okay, topic. Tomorrow, where do we even stop in chemistry? We stop where? The hostel, where do you stop? We are entering separation techniques. We finish boiling and melting point, right? So we enter separation techniques tomorrow in chemistry. So if you come, the first thing we'll do is that we'll copy the assignment as we did today. Please come on time, so that not when we are about to start, some people will come in and be dragging us back. Please come on time. 4 p.m. we'll start copying the assignment. Hey, that should not take us up to 10 minutes. We are done. Then we'll now review our biology assignment. Please do it. Do it with your full chest. Don't do it anyhow. Then after that, we'll now go into what we have chemistry. Any question? No question. So I think we'll stop here for today. Go here into the world of internet and Facebook and scatter everywhere. God bless you.